Just want to ask you a few of the most recent headlines that are happening in boxing, if you don't mind. The most recent being the WBC stripping Terence Crawford of his belt due to not paying the sanctioning fees. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, and have you ever seen this happen before?
Well, first of all, I think that I have to say that Terence fought a great fight, and he's tarnishing by not being honorable. He's tarnishing that great victory that he just had by not being honorable and living up to his, not only his responsibility, but his promises. The WBC made it possible. I shouldn't say the WBC. The organizations made it possible for Terence to be known. If Terence was fighting for the XYZ title in his hometown and it was not a world rating, then nobody would know him. The reason he got the opportunity to fight for that kind of money is because the organizations were rating him and they were given opportunities to fight for a title. He became known because of the organizations, not because he's Terence Crawford. If at the beginning when he first started his career, he could have said, I'm never ever going to pay sanctioning fees, do you think anybody would have ever known him outside of his hometown? Nobody, because he wouldn't be recognized by any sanctioning body that he was somebody. So I think that is not too honorable not to be paying what he agreed to before the fight. If he had said before the fight, I'm not going to pay it, then WBC would have not sanctioned the bout, then they can both walk the opposite direction. But he agreed to pay. He agreed in that amount. So I think it's a disgrace that he's not doing it.
There's a lot of, and of course this is coming from different opinions online, there's a lot of people that feel that the sanctioning bodies are worthless today. What would you like to say to the people who believe that?
I think the people that are saying that are not involved in the sport of boxing. Every organization, every, let's just say the college football, they're having the national championship. I think they have like 12 teams that are going to play for the national championship. Somebody has to rate those teams. They have to play the number 1 against number 12 or 2 against 11 whatever. The same thing with a 64 when they play the college basketball 64 the tournament. Somebody has to rate them, and those people that rate them or those organizations that rate them, I'm sure are making money also. So if we didn't have the organizations like the WBC, WBA, WBO, and the IBF, then who would know the fighters? How would the public know who they were? By them taking out ads that telling people that I'm 16-0 now or I'm 15-0? No, there's a reason why they're moving up the rankings, because they're getting better. They move up the rankings in these organizations to be able to challenge for a belt. If they were not moving up those rankings, they would not be challenging for a belt. And if you have a 10-round fight somewhere, it pays, say, small number, say it's $100. If you have a championship fight, now it's worth $500. So the belts make a difference. Just like when we were kids and we used to race motorcycles or bicycles, we didn't race for money, we raced for a little trinket, a little trophy that we still keep. I don't know if you keep your trophies, but I know my kids keep theirs in the garage somewhere. So we race for that trinket, and that belt is the trinket. That we make money off of this, yes, but Terence Crawford made $50 million not because he's Terence Crawford. He made it because the organizations put him there.
So let's talk about the percentage. Obviously, it was less than the standard percent that the WBC would normally require, which is 3%. Mauricio has said that they agreed to a lesser percent, and I can't quote exactly what that amount was, but I know it was less than 1%. And you know, you get the argument from people who go, well, where's all this money going to, and why do they charge so much? Like, just what are your thoughts overall on that? And can you kind of explain a bit more, aside from obviously them holding a title, but like why it's so important that fighters pay their sanctioning fees?
Well, first of all, I think that the number that was mentioned was 300,000. The normal rate, I think, for most sanctioned bouts is 3% from each side. That when you get to a bigger number, obviously there's 50 million, obviously you have to negotiate. So he negotiated that before the fight, not only with the WBC, but with WBA, WBO, and IBF. If he agreed to it, if he didn't agree with it, let's just say, then he shouldn't have fought for the WBC belt. What the organizations do with that money is really none of anybody's business. It's a business that they use it for charity, that they use it to help other fighters, that they use it for, that's their business. They're not asking Terence what he's doing with his money. They're not asking me what I'm doing with my money. So I think that the organizations, I believe the WBC has some kind of program in Vegas where they help other older fighters and retired fighters.
They do.
But really, it's nobody's business. The fan, it's not costing the fan a dime. So the fan really has nothing to critique or to ask questions because it's not their money. They have a company, which is the organizations that they pay. Let's just say the chairmans of Africa to go look at fights, to go see fighters fight so that they can rate them. That money has to come from somewhere. Those people need to be paid somehow. So the organizations have a structure where they take care of their people so that they can get the ratings from all over the world, so that everybody that's eligible or qualified to be rated is rated. If they didn't have representatives in Africa, let's just say, and there was a lot of great fighters in Africa, why aren't they getting the opportunity to fight for a world title to make more money? So all those monies that are being collected are being used for a lot of different reasons in the structure of the organization, and it should be nobody's business where that money goes, in my opinion.
Do you happen to know like what happens now? Like if a fighter says that they're going to do something and then they don't do it, like is there some sort of legal repercussion for that? I mean, I'm not sure. I've never seen, from of the years I've been covering boxing, I've not seen this happen.
I don't believe there's a legal repercussion. I think that he made an agreement. He signed a contract.
A verbal
agreement. No, he signed a contract.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He signed a contract.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if there's a binding legal document that says that he has to pay and he doesn't pay it,
well,
I mean,
I don't know what the organizations require them to be able
Right.
to sanction about. I think that because of this, the rules will change with the organizations. Their requirements will be different. As far as what happens in the future with other fighters, let's just have all the fighters now that have balls say, I'm not going to pay any sanction fees for any title fight. I can bet you dollars to donuts that they'll never get a title shot.
Yeah.
They can fight for the Big Bear belt if they want. It's not going to make a difference. So, and they're never going to be rated either. So they can make that claim today before they fight for anything that they're not going to pay. And I promise you, they're not going to fight for any title. Now, as far as Terence is concerned, he's 38 years old. He's not going to fight for any. He's done what has never been done before. He is the face of boxing right now. Unfortunately, he's tarnishing that. But he's never going to fight for WBC belt. He doesn't care to fight for WBC belt again. Probably will never get an opportunity again either.
What's good, YouTube family? It's your boy KB, back to get boxing is just due. And man, y'all smash the like button on the way in, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and hit that bell icon so y'all can be notified when we drop more videos, and we gonna get right into it. So man, it's been a lot of back and forth, a lot of discussions about this whole, sanctioning fees debacle or situation with Terence Crawford. Abel Sanchez, he did an interview and he said some very interesting things about Terence Crawford, man. He seemingly stripped him of, his identity to a degree. Like the sanctioning body, he went on to say that the sanctioning bodies, like nobody would know Terence Crawford without the organizations. The reason people know him is because of the belts. And look, I'm not going to act like Abel Sanchez don't have a point to a certain degree. I understand where he's coming from. But let's not make no mistake about it, man. Let's make no mistake about it. The belts, to me, don't give the fighters validity. The fighters give the belts validity. How do you know this? Because when they talk about the belts, such as the Ring Magazine belt, the reason they say or they praise it the way they do because of the fighters that used to hold the belt. You get what I'm saying? In no world does the belt just gives the fighter validity. You get what I'm saying? The reason we know about Terence Crawford is because he's been, undefeated since 2008, since turning pro. He's been dominating at a world-class level since 2014, all championship fights. The man has put his work in, and let the record reflect, not only is he 3-time undisputed, but he's also been known to be paying these sanctioning fees. And Mauricio Suleiman seems as if he tried to stiff him. He seemed like he tried to extort Terence Crawford and he wasn't going for it. You get me? And there's a lot of people that have a lot of different takeaways about, if he should have paid the fees, and he's not undisputed. You had Teofimo Lopez coming out saying he's not undisputed because he didn't pay the sanctioning fees. Man, get that garbage out of here, man. Celebrate the man. 3-time undisputed, man. He made history. He separated himself from his contemporaries. He solidified himself as the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. And I want the record to reflect that, not the fact that, towards the tail end of his career, he stood up to the system that tried to extort him for $300K. And it's a lot of things that was wrong with what Abel Sanchez was saying, because he left a lot of context clues out. He said that Terence Crawford agreed to pay X amount. No, he didn't agree. He paid all the other sanctioning bodies, and the only ones asking for more money was the WBC, who's known as to be crooked, that make their rules up as they go along. So I like the way Terence Crawford stood up. I don't think he's tarnishing his legacy. This is not disgraceful. And I feel like with or without those belts, people would know who Terence Crawford was if you truly watch boxing, because he's been absolutely one of the best fighters since turning pro. And that's what the record needs to reflect, not this, effort to, diminish what he's accomplished over money. Abel Sanchez went on to say that it's nobody's business where the money goes. These guys have to get paid, but they're getting paid off the hard work of the fighters, the blood, sweat, and tears of the fighters. They're getting paid and going on vacations and, living it up in 5-star hotels and throwing these big conventions and just living well off the salaries that they charge the fighters, man. So a fighter should want to know where his $300K is going, especially if it's a extremely high amount that they don't usually charge. Now, I put a post in the video for y'all, and shout out to the female, Claire Burke. I reached out to her. Hopefully I can get her on the show. She broke down, the numbers that Mauricio was talking about and the money that they were, saying that Terence Crawford owed, and she simply put the math ain't mathing. So take a minute, y'all, pause the video if you need to. Read that, information clearly, that Facebook post that she put out. She broke the numbers down, and she used to work for the WBC, so she would know. And I appreciate her. Big shout out to Claire Burke, man. More information like that needs to be put out. The people need to be well informed and not just, sold a story that somehow Terence Crawford is being disgraceful and trying to run out on paying his sanctioning fees. Abel said he'll never get a chance again to fight for the WBC title. And I wouldn't care from Terence Crawford. I'm 38 years old. I just dethroned the pound-for-pound king at 168 pounds in Canelo Alvarez. I'm at the top of my game. I made, my biggest fights with my own doing, right? Put my own fights together, and he could retire on a high note, man. I don't think this tarnishes his legacy. It doesn't make him look bad or anything like that. It only looks bad if you don't see it his way. If you don't see his side of it, should I say. Everybody has a side. He said he paid all the other sanctioning bodies, and WBC is the only one asking for extra money, and he needed to know why. And if you couldn't get that man to answer and understand as to why you're charging him an exceptional amount of money as opposed to the other 3 sanctioning bodies, then I wouldn't pay either. Shout out to Terence Crawford for standing on business and not allowing the business of boxing to extort you for your blood, sweat, and tears, for your hard work, because it was you that fought the 12 rounds. It was you that took and threw those punches against Canelo, not Mauricio Suleiman. And shout out to Claire one more time, man. Read that post carefully. She broke it all down. Mauricio was full of it, man. I knew $225,000 wasn't going to help fighters alone. That was just something he said to save face, man. But that's my thoughts, man. Get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about all this. Do y'all agree with any of the things that Abel said? And who's right and who's wrong in this situation? Terence Crawford or the WBC, who many people deem crooked? And as always, get in the comment section. Let me know if I gave boxing its just due, because that's what I do over here, Just Do Boxing. Till the next one, I'm out. Peace.